call the November 6th, 2017 Management Services to order. You have the roll.
Paul?
Here.
Johnson? Here. McGinnis?
Here.
Coughlin? Here. Barron?
Here. All right. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Public comments. Are there any public comments? And we will move on to discuss office space for Veterans Assistance. Who wants to start?
I'll go ahead. Basically, what we would like to do is if the office space for animal control has become vacant, we would like to put our names in the hat to take that office space over. It would be beneficial for the Veterans Assistance Commission to accommodate a larger office space so we can provide better services, better privacy for our veterans, because as it sits right now, they're sitting outside my office where it sits at right now, next door. And it kind of puts a damper on the privacy for them. Now, it was brought to the attention there at the last Finance Committee meeting by my board that that's what they would want so we can provide better services for our veterans. Craig, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, there's a little, actually what it amounts to is we need a spot for Jennifer to work with the veterans in a more private manner, and that would also give us a space for people who are waiting to get out of the hallway and be there. There's also somewhere down the road we're looking at possibly a veteran to come in and either a volunteer or someone paid for by the veterans to do phone answering, that kind of thing. And that would give us a second desk and spot to do that. So it'd just be very beneficial for us. The county board chairman uses that back office in that. And between us, we've discussed, and if he could move to the Jennifer's office, it's there in the hallway, it's a little more accessible, it might be a good thing for him too. So that's where we're standing.
Anita?
When public health moved in here, we used to have, when we have negotiations, the labor side has to go somewhere separate when we caucus, so that the county board, the committee can meet in private, and the labor representatives can meet in private, and then come back with whatever, our compromises. So when public health moved in, we started moving the labor side into animal control and into the county board chairman's office. It's really small. If we're now going to make it into that, during FOP, there are three different unions in the FOP Sheriff's Department, 2 each, that's 6 people, plus their labor representative, plus an overall. There is literally like 6 to 10 people on the labor side. I don't know how I'm going to fit them all in that office right there. It's going to be a problem. That's just not going to work during labor negotiations, which goes on. I mean, yes, now we're done for a year, but at the point in time when that comes in, we're meeting several times over several months. I need room for the labor side to meet in private and away from the board.
All right. Anybody else got any other? I don't think we're going to make a decision here today, but
We're not asking for that. We just want our name in the hat and something to think about in the future.
yeah. Okay. And maybe we can move things around somehow. I don't know.
Basically, we need more space and would like, just the privacy issue, when you're talking benefits and a family, uneven death benefits, this kind of thing. And
Health benefits,
it's-
health, medical records, medical concerns, that becomes a little bit of a privacy issue, and it's, I am bonded by HIPAA laws, and we're making the best with what we have, but it's coming to a point where, I'm gonna be in the office, hopefully, in the next 2 years on a full-time basis. Right now, we're sitting to expand, to 4 to 5 days a week, half-time. I mean, that's just what it's calling for, and we would just like to be considered for that space.
Okay,
Okay,
all right. Well,
that's
thank-
all we've got to say for you today.
All
And
right.
if you need any information, get a hold of me or Jennifer, and we can be happy to help you out.
Yep.
Okay,
We're,
we will see
we're,
what we can do.
we're flexible. It's not that we're just wanting to be heard.
Right.
And this is what's going to happen down the road. It's,
Yeah.
we're outgrowing, and it's not that we're trying to be,
Well, if you weren't so efficient and good at your job, that wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, right.
well, that's not in my nature. That's not my nature.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you
we
so
will see
much.
what we
Thank
can
you
do.
for your time.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
They do need better privacy, because when she does talk with the vets, you can hear if you're sitting right there. And
Yeah.
Chances are that office may not be the best as far as privacy goes.
Well,
The office that she's in right now, I believe, in my view, probably has a lot more privacy. But I think that's something that ought to be investigated pretty carefully.
yeah. I mean, we can look at what options we have.
The way the vent systems in this building work and up above, why sound travels rather easily.
Well, that's where I know Ken said he'd rather not move, but that he would if he needed to.
I think they don't think there's a lot more privacy.
Yeah. So, that would be an option maybe.
But there again, it's something that I think needs to be investigated.
Okay.
Also, we need to take note of the fact that there are a lot of records that are being kept in that office right now. Animal control records, public health records, zoning records. It's possible to find another location for those, but again, that's something that needs to be looked at.
Okay. Well, we'll just kind of keep it on the back burner, and anybody that's got any suggestions?
I ran into John Wilkening last Saturday, I think it was, and I probably will run into him tomorrow if he's well enough to come out to tonight American Legion meeting. But he said somewhere that we're obligated to provide them
To provide
an
space,
office and a telephone line. I don't know if we pay for the telephone line itself or not,
Yes, we do.
but anyway, okay, I would like for him to, I'm going to ask him tonight if he can find that in BA records.
Well, we know we're obligated to provide them a space. It's
Right.
just,
Problem is, how much is enough?
right. So, okay. Anything else on that? Okay. We will move on to county farm management issues. I got in touch with Zach this morning. With the rain and everything, he doesn't expect the crop to get out till later in the month. And one of the reasons is he doesn't want to tear the ground up, which would just make it bad for next year. So until the crop is off, we can't get the soil samples done, but we can discuss the fertilizer bid process. In the past, had few people bid, and it was, it's my understanding it's because of the way we were asking them to bid. Everybody got the Van Horn one, the way they sent it, it's my understanding, is how most of the companies would prefer to have it done, which instead of a per ton, they wanted to do just a total price. Which is why, if we're gonna do it that way, then we can't do it till we have the soil sample for them to give a price on it. But they don't want their prices published on a per ton basis. So, it's just a minor adjustment that we have to do, is to go to a total price instead of a per ton price. But does that sound good to everybody to go to that?
Would it be acceptable to use the per ton price on the others that have already made a bid?
Well, we haven't put it out for bid yet.
Okay, that looked like a bid.
This is last time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is just an
Yeah, the
example.
price may change.
Yeah, this is just the example.
That's good to know that before we put it out there.
Yeah. So, I think, rather than the per ton basis we've been doing,
Price, just a bid to fertilize it, yeah.
Do they have to show proof of insurance or anything like that as well?
What all is in that bid packet? I think most of the time, most of the bids does have a line in there that they need insurance. If it's not on there, it needs to be yes.
I have a question about that. And I don't object to it, but how will we as a board know per ton? How will we have that information to compare pricing?
All we'll be looking at, instead of getting the per ton and figuring out ourselves, they're just going to say, this is the total, so you'll have a total from this one, a total from that one, a total
But
from
will
that one.
they bid it so we can separate out the hauling and things like that?
I doubt it.
So
because
we're
they-
not going to have a clear picture that way of what the actual cost for the product is.
Don't need it.
I guess, really, as long as they're putting on what the soil test requires,
Yeah.
we don't care if they're giving us the product and charging us a lot for delivery or what. It's the bottom line that we care about, and making sure that the product is there. And when Adam was still on, he said he would trust any of the fertilizer companies in the county, to give us what they say they're giving us. So I guess I would go by, that, I guess, we have to assume they're being honest with us, otherwise, what do we do? Well, unless we're gonna stand there and watch them load the trucks, it's gonna be hard. So, any other questions, comments? Anything else on the, that you think we need to have on there? And there's a list of where it was sent to before, because there's such a limited number, rather than advertising, we just send it to everybody in the county. Are there any others that anybody knows of?
Refresh our memory of the list. Van Horn,
Well,
FS,
we had DNS on last time, they are no longer in existence.
Who
We
is
got
it?
DNS,
Okay. We got Heritage FS.
okay.
Big one. Another big. Yeah, you're right, Drillmark was another big one.
We got Chavance Ag, Crop Production out of Sheldon, United Prairie, Crescent City, Van Horn, Goodwine, Crop Production, Anarga, and Heritage. I assume you're talking out of Gilman? Or is there another one closer?
CP, I don't know.
Well, Heritage,
Yeah, that's all.
the Heritage cover, they have locations all over, they'll just bid and ship it from wherever it is.
Yeah.
And then Ravidu Grain, I know, does fertilizer.
Okay.
And it, does Martinton, or is that a separate elevator?
Don't know.
I know they have a fertilizer spot just north of the elevators.
Okay, so we got added Heritage, FS and Rabu. Was there another one I missed? Okay. Anything else anybody can think of that we need to do, put on? If there's nothing, then I guess we will entertain a motion to approve, to do
So moved.
Second.
roll call.
Is the motion to,
To approve, to go ahead and send out for bids. And,
For total price versus per ton,
yeah,
will be a better pricing scheme.
and then we will do that as soon as we get the soil test back, which won't happen until after the crop is off.
second. Okay. Paul?
Yes.
Johnson? McGinnis?
Yes.
Hoffman? Yes. Barron?
Yes. Any other farm management issues anybody's got? Discuss waste recycling survey.
We don't have copies of that.
Okay.
I did. I couldn't get mine open.
Okay. I guess what they're looking for is just what's available throughout the county and not just by the county. And for that, we would have to have everybody kind of get input on what's in their community. Because I don't have any idea what Milford does for recycling.
We have in the city limits, we have a grant program, and we, every third Wednesday, they pick that up. I don't know many more details for it, but I know that we don't pay for it. And I think it's a wonderful thing, because my garbage is reduced significantly, but at the end of 4 weeks, my recycling is full. I mean, it's paper towel rolls, it's toilet paper rolls, it's all the envelopes, your junk mail comes in because I shred anything with my name on it. But it's plastics, and you just can't believe the plastics. But that's what we do, and I know that there was a great deal of interest, and it's just real obvious to the county for this recycling. I think it's a wonderful thing that we did, and I acknowledge that what Sika helped us, but that is a true benefit to the taxpayers of this county, to have a place to take your TVs and other stuff you don't have, you don't know how to get rid of. I think there's an overwhelming response to that. So, I don't know, that's Milford has a grant, and we do have recycling in Milford.
I guess,
Does that answer your question?
yeah, I guess we'll have to look at it, because the way this is set up, there's no way for us to break it out town by town, so I don't know
Oh, you have a report there?
if there's that they emailed.
Oh,
Maybe we need to find out if all the towns got it, and then all we'd be responsible for is what the county actually does.
well,
Because if the town's got the same report, then we don't wanna,
oh, this isn't the report for
This
our
is-
event?
this is from the state of Illinois,
I see, it's a question?
it's a
It's a
questionnaire,
survey.
yeah, survey, is what we do. And it says throughout the county, but does that mean just the county?
Well, Assistant Park had every Saturday morning a station where they collected stuff like this. I don't think they had TV sets though. They had our own drive, like we had in Watsika, county had. But a year ago now, they saw Boy Scouts were running it, and they found out they were losing money. So they dropped it. And down his right, our set out at the curb for disposal is, they say, is doubled at every door. Mine as well. So now it goes out like everything else, it's having to be recycled by the town or any organization.
Well, we'll have to look into this a little bit more and hopefully have better understanding. I don't see a deadline.
Maybe contact one of the other counties, find out how they did it,
Yeah,
because I've got a list of them.
or call the state and see exactly what they want. All right, well, we will,
It's definitely missed on there, they wish they had it, but again, it affect them to lose money on it.
We're bound to cut back. Because
I guess this should have gone on county farm. It's just USDA updated their file showing Zach Forster is the farmer on the land and not DNS farm. So if anybody wants to see it, it's right there.
As long as you're back to management, there is one other fertilizer company. It's Weber Fertilizer in Moda. And you said you got Shaban's grain on there?
Yes.
yeah, Rabideau. I thought Martin had, but there's a, I don't know if it's Martin Grain.
What was the name again?
Weber Fertilizer.
Fertilizer. Ben's just north
It's
of.
300 North Chestnut Street, Loda, 60948.
And if anybody comes up with any more, just get the names to Amanda. Maintenance supervisor report.
Right off the bat here, something we spoke about in our last meeting, the issue of hand dryers came up, and I said I would have something a little more solid to just give you guys information. I'm finding that they're like anything else. I mean, you can get an El Cheapo for $150, or you can spend $1,000 a dryer if you want to. So I went right middle of the road, about $300. We need 18 hand dryers for all 3 buildings, which puts us about $5,500 just for the dryers. I'm guessing around another $5,000 by the time they're installed, with the wiring and the labor and everything. So that puts us over $10,000. And I spoke with Steve Kennedy, and we went over a lot of our invoices and whatnot, and figured we're spending right around $2,000 a year for hand towels.
So it'd be a long time, by the time we got the payback, we'd be
It's
replacing
a
them.
long, and plus they're not free to operate either.
Right.
And it's something that breaks, and, yeah, I agree, I don't know that that's a very good route to go. Month October, saw a shift primarily over to heating in all the buildings. The water tower here at the admin building is drained and winterized. Everything seems to transition nicely. All of the filters and all the air handlers got swapped out. I did the same thing in the spring. There's 53 of them total. It's a spring and fall thing. Oiled all the pumps, circulating pumps and grease bearings and whatnot. All the filters over here in these heat pumps, they're the 4-inch pleated filters, and they last a long time. I mean, since I've been here, I've only had to swap out a couple of them. Any of them that I pull out, and it's where they're drawing the air from too, up above. It's not like a direct pull from outside with the dust and debris and whatnot. So I rarely have to change anything over here filter-wise. Over at the jail, it was an issue. I had to call Tim Goodman in once this month. Some of the phones in the visitation room weren't working correctly. There was some wiring issue going on with that, and he fixed that. There was another issue about a week later with phones, but I was able to repair that one on my own. Nobody needed called. Weber's had to come twice this month and auger out inmate toilets because they like flushing things down the toilet. Call Weber's pretty much every time because they know the routine. They show up and it's usually about a 10-minute deal and it's taken care of. So Otis Elevator needed called a week ago. The dumb waiter in the kitchen for the jail got stuck halfway up with food trays loaded in it. They came and worked on that. This happened on a Sunday evening, and they showed up Monday and worked on that, and it turns out it was not a big issue at all. It was the door that got sent up wasn't completely latched, and it got halfway up, and a safety sensor sprung, and it wasn't going to move. And we had to, I say we, have kind of just watched him work, but that was his expertise there. But that's taken care of now, and I spoke with anyone who operates that and made sure that they know what's going on over there. Let's see what else here. Oh, the manpower temp housekeeper over here at the admin building was hired on full-time, but part-time. She's an employee of the county now. 2 weeks ago, felt that was our best option at the time with people interviewed and whatnot, and she knows the routine pretty well, and she's doing a pretty good job over here, and so we just hired her on as the part-time housekeeper. There's some electric issues over here at the admin building. B&B came here just over a week ago. Some of the handicap doors and exit signs in the building weren't working, and started trying to track down a circuit, and it just turned it into a web up above. It was a circuit that anytime we reset the breaker, it would just instantly pop. Narrowed it down to the problem was out here on the side of the building out here, one of the night security lights had a bad ballast that shorted out, and it was wired into the circuit and remedied the problem. They are going to swap out that ballast. They didn't have one on hand. It's on order, so that's going to be taken care of here in a bit. Let's see what else. I spent $100 on mulch for this building. And I transplanted a whole bunch of daylilies and whatnot over here on this southwest side, the entryway, just to make it look a little bit nicer. Moved some stuff around, brought some new stuff in. And honestly, guys, not to lessen the importance of a lot of this smaller stuff, but I mean, I could sit here for 45 minutes and tell you every little thing. I mean, I'd like to keep it moving for you. I mean, my phone rings 2-3 times a day. Everything from can you move a desk to there's a toilet that won't stop flushing in the court deliberating bathroom. So I mean, it's a lot of little things like that. I'm not going to tell you every single one. I'm trying to cover a lot of the main ideas here. I have a couple things left here. One of them is kind of bad news, and one of them is just sort of news. Which do you want to go first?
Get the bad news over.
Yeah.
Bad news? Okay. That was good news. We need a new oven arranged for the jail, the kitchen. The one that's in there, 1982, it currently just got removed. Parts, actually the quote was, when I was showing around the facility, when I first started here, to have fun with that, you can't get parts for it anymore. And that was not an exaggeration. The safety valves that turn on the gas to the ovens, they have mercury in them. It's an obsolete part, and there's no retrofit part. It's a South Bend range. I've exhausted my resources as far as speaking with South Bend. I mentioned to Lyle for a meeting, Rob at Plumbart, if there's a part available, he can find it. He's dead ends. He's like, Chris, you can't get parts for this anymore. There's 2 ovens. They both stopped working. They tried to feed inmates with no oven for a couple of days. It wasn't going to work. Had to get that oven out of there. Myself, a trustee, and 2 correctional officers moved that battleship out of there. And that's about the heaviest thing I've ever moved in my life. Got it out of there, and Kingdon's was nice enough to give me a loaner used stove that I temporarily installed in there that they've been cooking on now for about a week and a half. It works, but the problem is a lot of their pans and whatnot don't fit inside a residential oven. I've been pricing new ones, and to get one, you know, pretty much identical to what was in there, you're looking at several thousands of dollars. There's ones that are mid-sized with 6 burners and 1 large oven, which I've spoke with both cooks over there, and they say that would work fine as well. You're looking at, they start around $1,000. It's all just kind of on hold for the moment because I spoke with the sheriff. He's like, yeah, let's run this by the management committee meeting and throw out some ideas there. So anybody short of go buying a new stove, I mean,
Would it come in the budget improvement project, or?
No, if it's just a couple $1,000, that would come out of repairs and maintenance. And if you can look at your page, I mean, that is over already in the courthouse. Well, the budget amount is $32,500. That's that very first column, right? And through what we have as of now, we've spent $29,000. So we have $3,000, $3,500 left in there. So I don't know what you're talking about in terms, but you could eat that whole thing up.
What are you running on average with your maintenance? I mean, I guess it depends on how many times you gotta get a toilet augered out.
yeah, I know, it's, and like I said, I don't go digging these things up, they just kind of happen. So, you know, it's one of those, you don't know when it's going to happen type things, and well, this popped up. You know, looking at the last 2 months, at 951 and 767, so I've been under $1,000 for the past 2 months, and then just over in August. Not sure what happened in May.
Anita, if he has money left in the last week of the month and orders it, it has to be paid for. If he
It's got to
gets-
be working. It's got to be on-site and installed in order to be a November expense.
Okay,
Otherwise, it's next year's budget.
right.
Right, and honestly, if you look at what you could do, I mean, if you look at where maintenance and supply is, or maintenance and repair in the admin, granted, they are 2 different departments, but you could run it over in sheriff, knowing you're under in admin building.
So we can do that without a big, we just have to
It's
vote to
fine,
do
we're
it.
not gonna get written up in the audit. It's technically not correct.
I didn't know if that would require opening the budget or, no.
I wouldn't recommend it.
It's just something we could decide to do here.
Right. I would, other departments run over from time to time. It happens every year. If it's a one-off, this one time, then we can say in total, look where we're at. I mean, by law, it says, what it says is you can't go over by fund for services, meaning labor, equipment, which this is not equipment, and supplies. This is supplies because it's under $10,000. Our capitalization threshold is $10,000. So, but it doesn't say by department. It says by fund in the state law. We typically hold office holders and department heads accountable, which we should, by department. But from an audit perspective and from a legality, you're not going to get in trouble for approving a bill if in total the general fund is under.
Okay, so we could go ahead and recommend getting that single oven and use,
Sounds like the only choice we have is go to one that's not designed for it, so we should stay with something that's designed for it.
so, okay, we approve it. Do we approve paying it out of admin budget, or do we just approve it and let you guys figure out the accounting?
No, well, you have to, regardless of where the budget is, you have to account for things in the right place. That is GAAP accounting. So sheriff would be over, and he'll get rid, there's a page on the audit where it shows every department, and he'll be over, and admin will be under.
Okay, so,
I would also recommend, and I can have that conversation, or Charlie could do that in finance, but just notify the finance committee that that's your recommendation. Have them approve it,
okay.
just understanding that that's what's going to happen.
We should have a motion here. Don't we?
Right.
Yes.
To send it to
Yes.
finance?
Yes, right.
Okay. We'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion since I'm taking the finance too,
Okay. And your motion is,
to go ahead and buy the 2,000 plus, was it?
Not to exceed,
Not to exceed 2,
Not to exceed, yeah.
the low, anywhere from 1,000 to maybe 13, 1,400.
And call it not a home one, but
it is
Commercial.
a
Commercial.
commercial
still for
rated.
the jail.
Commercial range for the jail.
Yeah, it's just a smaller range than what was here, but it is still a commercial.
Correct.
To replace the one that's no longer serviceable. That's the best way, because you don't, if the serviceable, they'll say,
And that's a recommendation to the finance
yeah.
committee. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion on it? Go ahead.
So then now do I wait or do I move on this?
Probably I'll wait till Thursday.
Till
Okay.
the full board.
Yeah,
I'll
we-
tell you when.
Yeah, that's true.
Look for the model,
Have everything ready in case,
Yeah.
type of thing. All right.
this way all you have to do is once they approve it,
Dial the phone and everything.
Okay.
put it on the shopping cart.
Alden,
Yes,
Johnson, yes, McGinnis,
Yes.
Awful, yes, Barron.
Yes. Okay. Anything else? What was your other?
The other is, next month meeting, a representative from Osram Sylvania is going to be coming to the management committee meeting and giving a small presentation on retrofitting every light fixture in all 3 buildings with high efficiency LED type stuff. Sheriff and I met with him and Brian Grimes. It was on Halloween actually, and came and told us what his company does, and I think you guys will be quite interested to hear what he has to say. I'm not going to elaborate on a whole bunch, but it's a company that comes in and retrofits everything, and it's paid by the savings that happen over the next few years. So there's no money out of our pocket whatsoever. There's a lot of companies like this out there, but a lot of them go belly up and whatnot. Anita knows a lot about this type of thing too, I think. But he's going to come in and tell you what he's all about, and I think you guys will be pretty interested in hear what he has to say. Yes.
Does anyone else remember here when we had, the state mandated that we go to all T8 lighting?
That's already been done.
Yeah, so is this in addition to, is this the next step, or how is that
This
tie in with
this
that?
is another step. The T8s, the T12s were a fatter, less efficient bulb. T8s are smaller, more efficient. And at that time, when all that was done, all of the ballasts got switched in all the buildings as well. They went from old magnetic ones that used to buzz to electronic ones. And now this would be a swap over another step, actually a giant step, like cost and efficiency-wise, to LED bulbs. They'd be the same size bulb as a T8, but they'd be LEDs instead of an actual gas bulb is what these are.
So we're talking about just putting in new light bulbs?
No.
Ballast.
All the fixtures.
Yeah, they'd be yes.
So here's my question, and I used to work for Johnson Controls. In the controls division, that's what we did was, and we had a division that sold this, very profitable, very profitable. But what we would do is build a company, and when you say it's paid for by the savings, the company would pay us what their historic run rate was. We paid to install it, and then we got the profit for the 3 years or whatever. So the savings, would it work that way? Sylvania or whoever this company is would charge us what our historic run rate is, and then we pay them our historic run rate, and then they paid for,
By historic run rate, you mean the electric bill,
right,
for, you know, in simple terms. Yes, and so whatever our electric bill is for, you know, say our electric bill is $10,000. We're gonna continue to pay that even after it's installed for the next 36 months, say, and even though our electric bill might be $4,500, well, that $5,500 is going to Osram Sylvania to pay off what they've done. But then, once that 36 months is up, then we get the savings. I just feel...
You're handy, because I just converted one over at the store.
Sure.
Basically, you cut the ballast out, you rewire it, and you put the new bulbs up.
Yes.
So it's not that difficult.
Times
I know,
30,000.
but we don't have to do them all at once.
Okay. Sure, that's an option too.
I mean,
I want to present to you guys, I mean, part of my job is looking for ways down the road
Right.
to save money, to, you know,
Right.
for lack of a better term. And, you know, well, this is something that I present to you guys. If you don't want no part of it, throw it away and we'll go another route.
I mean, we can listen to them,
Sure.
but
I believe IMH is going to do this.
yeah.
I know the high school did this a handful of years ago, and they, I forget the company that they went through, but the company went belly up, and so any warranty work, which is part of their deal, you know, they provide warranty work for, 10 years or something, and yeah, so they get none of that now, so you gotta be careful who you go with. Just throw it out there for you guys, it's up to you.
Okay.
Throw it all out. Give it.
Anything else on your
No,
report?
that's pretty much it. That's all I have.
Anybody got any questions for him?
I like this idea to get it done.
Numbers wise, what do you think, Anita? I mean, is it,
you're gonna pay the run rate that we have, and we use the run rate to budget, so
how much savings after the time period are they saying?
He will elaborate on that when he comes.
Okay.
And our current contract with Homefield Energy, they buy that contract out. And it's, like I said, he's loaded with more information than I have, and he'll present it all, and we'll go from there.
So is this a mandatory thing?
No.
Does it have to
No,
be done?
this is not mandated.
No.
This is just a down the road help savings.
It's a way where they will say, we'll take care of everything. You keep paying what you normally do for 3 years, and after 3 years you own it, and then you get your savings.
Especially a lot of the exterior lights on the facilities, I mean, it's just eating up so much power out there, burning all night, 400-watt fixtures just going, they get swapped over with a 40-watt or something. It's something to think about in one way or another, whether we go this route or down the road, just fund it ourselves, I don't know, but...
Okay,
That's all I have.
Have that on the agenda for next meeting then. Claims.
I have a question. On this transfer from farm account for 2017 budget, what's that all about? It's $100,000.
every year, you'll see it in your budget, there's a line in the general fund for a transfer from the farm fund and there's a line in the farm fund to transfer to the general fund. It is how we make, essentially the farm rent helps assist paying for the general fund. So typically, the last 2 years, I think it's been 100,000. Previously, it was 50,000 that we needed. Whatever the amount is that we need to help balance the general fund budget, it's essentially transferring the rental income from the farm fund to the general fund to help pay for all our general expenses.
Any other questions on the claims? Is there a motion to approve? Charlie, is there a second? Second. Art? Roll.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson, McGinnis,
Yes.
Waffle, Aaron.
Yes. Okay, anybody got any old business? All right, new business. Basically just a heads up, the state has been contacting us on the bicentennial. They would like a kickoff event at primary location for the county on December 4th at noon. I talked this morning with Chris. They have a whole script and everything, so we're going to figure out, if possible, we'll do it at the courthouse because it's better photo op and everything. But if they have, anything going on that's going to impede that, then we'll do it over here, I guess. And then we will be trying to have a meeting, and this is going to fall under something not so much county board. I mean, they sent it to the county board, but it's going to get pushed out to the local towns and organizations. The state's idea is to have local fundraising to raise money for local projects that will be lasting after the bicentennial, that people can say, that was done at the bicentennial. So we're going to have a meeting hopefully shortly to get some groups organized and let them know what's going on. And then basically, other than a little bit of coordinating, it's going to be away from the county's hands.
Fundraising, the state wants us to fundraise
Well,
for crying out loud.
it's just an idea. Well,
I know, it's not your fault.
there's places out there that could use that to fundraise to build a pavilion in their park or something. That their idea was to have something that would be lasting after the bicentennial's over.
So what we fundraise, does it stay in Iroquois County, or does it?
Russell's in charge of,
Yeah.
John gave it to Russell. I've been working with Russell. Our idea is if it's raised in Chevance or in Milford, it stays in that town for their project. Russell's trying to contact some other people to maybe get some overall help so that, if you've got a project that you fall a little short of, okay, we got this money that we can push out towards that project. And he's working with IDA as an economic development thing more. There again, keeping it out of the county board and having it non-political and just try to keep it for the local towns and stuff.
Here's why I have such a negative reaction to fundraising, is because in Milford, they're a very generous community. We passed the safety tax, we passed a tax to build the school, we passed a tax to raise the park, we have a private committee raising funds to keep the pool open, we have Angel's Closet, which if you're not familiar is a free giveaway for clothing and whatever you need, you can just go there. We're fundraising. We've had a food pantry for 40 years that is not associated with Eastern Illini. We privately fund our ambulance. There is no tax levy for our ambulance. So in Milford, we fundraise and fundraise and fundraise, and I don't even know who you go to ask
Well,
to
Well,
fundraising.
and the idea of it is, okay, they've got the pool there already, so all the groups get together and say, okay, we want to do something at the pool as a bicentennial improvement, so the money raised there, stays there, for whatever they want to do. You know, and that's where we aren't looking to say, you have to do this. If you just want to raise a couple $100 to put up a commemorative flagpole. But, you know, the state's idea is we'd like to see something there that people can point to after the fact that that was done at the bicentennial.
Are there guidelines and stuff that they've written up about that? Could be shared with everybody else?
Not a whole lot. I mean, and we're trying to, we just got an email Friday saying, so that's why it wasn't on the agenda under anything other than new business. So we're trying to get things going. I just got an email address set up for people to send questions to. We're going to try to get a Facebook page set up to kind of get information out.
But they didn't send a packet or something like that that has all of this?
No. No, they sent one-page email, basically.
Not even a promise to balance the budget, Steve?
No.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do something bicentennial lasting, balanced budget reform, massive reform, maybe we should send them a letter. Hey, here's our recommendation.
In response.
Yeah, you want to be lasting.
But anyway, wanted to get that out there so that
I just have a feeling that in Milford, this is gonna go,
well, and that's fine. I mean, every community, and that's why we don't want to do it at the county level. Every community can decide what they want to do on their own. And some are going to take it and run, others are going to not want to do anything. And it's up to them.
And I can, you know,
Somebody
put you
grew
in
up and
touch
said, hey,
with
this-
some committees who might,
Good idea.
I mean, there's also fun days, there's maybe somebody
Well,
might want.
and that is one other thing. If nothing else, the state would like all fun days and parades to have a bicentennial theme. Which is, you know, and if you do a bicentennial theme, they're supposed to have a website that you can advertise it and hopefully get tourism.
Is this a flag that's gonna permanently fly, or you talked about flag raising, is this a different flag altogether?
It is Illinois bicentennial flag.
And it's gonna be a permanent addition to our flagpole?
Well, you can probably still take it down if it wears out, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we just want to leave it up there for the day, or, you know, like I said, we got the email Friday.
I got a better idea, why don't they have a bicentennial day
Flags
at
are
State Fair
expensive.
in Colored? Yeah, there you go.
Well, the flag is actually, they will send us a free flag, 3x5.
Oh, you
Yeah.
know how free that's gonna be.
Yeah, not free.
No, it's,
Made out of tissue.
they have, I forget who the sponsor is, but they have somebody that sponsored it and sent out. So, my question was, if every town wants to have it, can they get
If
a
it don't
free
rain,
flag?
it'll last a day.
So,
Flags don't last very long out there.
well, that's what I know at this point. Wanted to get it out there so people can start talking about it and hopefully
We
get
have.
some kind of response, yeah. Well, yes, and your negativism is why we're moving it away from the county board. So, all right, that's all I have for new business. Does anybody else have new business?
I have a question.
Yes.
If we want to have something added to the agenda for the next meeting, how soon, what's the latest that we can give you that information?
48 hours, it has to be posted, correct? Yeah. And that's 48 business, for 2
Yes,
business
but,
days.
but know that Amanda's not gonna come in on the weekend and repost a
This
thing.
is a
So
Monday
she
meeting.
usually posts it on Friday. So if you could let her know by Thursday, then she's got time.
I guess
Right,
the
Amanda?
answer is
It's
as soon as
really
possible.
All right. I don't wanna overstep my bounds, but.
So, all right. Anybody have any other new business? Then we'll entertain a motion. Nobody wants to go home?
We're thinking bicentennial right now.
Oh,
No.
We just
I
can't
move to
wait to
adjourn.
get to work on it.
All in favor?
I
Motion
Flag
carried.
we get,
We already
don't sponsor, it's gonna have